G'day toy fans, I'm Factor, this is Irikanji Toys, and today I'm going to take you through another painting tutorial. I previously showed you one that was just a basic paint job on some of my toys and my process for doing that. This time around I'm going to do something a little special, and you might remember from my painting materials video that I have some of these. And these are Green Stuff Color Shift metal paints. These are so rad, so freaking cool. I love painting with these things. So I'm going to show you through my process, how to do base coat, and then I'm going to pull out the airbrush and I'm going to show you how to do color shift metals. And if you don't remember, they are these. And as you can see, the color actually shifts. This is a green and purple one. So without further ado, here's some color shift metals. Okay, so like the previous tutorial, I have these three pieces. These have been washed in hot soapy water, as you saw again in the previous video, and here it is me washing them off with hot soapy water and then rinsing them off really well. Okay, so I've got these three pieces, and as per usual, after I've washed them with hot soapy water, I will take an alcohol swab, a little pad, and I will give them a once over with a bit of alcohol to make sure that any residual mold release or soap or just general gunk from around the place has been removed from all of these toys. Again, as per the last time, I'm going to say that a few times here, aren't I? It's really important that these things are just really nice and clean before you paint them. Sometimes I don't use mold release if I don't really care about the mold, if I'm only going to do maybe 20 pieces or something like that. But you know, mold release it'll keep your mold going for longer. But sometimes I don't know if I've used mold release, or I don't know if I've cleaned them properly, so I always just give them this once over with an alcohol swab. Always, just so that surface is really good and nice and clean. Okay, and yeah. Okay, and these three pieces are ready to paint with my Color Shift Chameleon paint. Pretty excited because I love the color shift, and I have a whole new packet of colors that I have not tried before, and I'm not sure which one I'm going to go for. Maybe Storm Surge Green or Mystic Gold. Mystic Gold sounds pretty good. This is a very green one, so we'll see how this goes. Alright, cool. Okay, these are the three pieces that I'm going to do the Chameleon color shift metal on. You might remember when I did the last ones, I used the pink base coat. Okay, so pink and white, they're, you know, good base coats. White's a regular, pink, really good. But for the color shift, you have no choice really, except to use a black. Well, okay, you have a choice. You can use black, or you can use like a dark green or a dark blue, as long as it's really dark. If it's really dark, then the color shift actually comes out on it, but if it's white, it's just not going to work and you're not going to get the effect. So I'm going to prime these with a gloss black and just do a really light coat to start with, and then come back and finish it all off. So let's just shake this. Yeah. Again, it's just the regular 2x Rust-Oleum. Okay. Okay, so that's the first coat. Don't want to go any more than that. You don't want it to drip. So I'm going to just leave that to dry for a little bit, come back, do a second coat, and then I'll come and do the underneath part of these. Sweet. Okay, so that's the first coat on these dry now. The good thing is this stuff, it dries really quickly, so you've got about 10 minutes turnaround between maybe doing your coats. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to do a second coat on these, and then after that I'll let it dry again, and then I'll turn them around, or I'll hold them. We'll get to that, and I'll do the underside of these pieces. So just shake my can again, test spray, and let's go. Okay, and that's it. That's it. Maybe I went a bit too much there, but it should be okay. So I'm going to let those dry, and then I'll come and I'll do the underneath part. And that's it. Bob's your boat builder. Now this is ready for the chameleon paint once it's dried, and that will be the next step that I'm going to show you in a second. But firstly, I'm just going to show you my airbrush setup, because it's the first time that I've actually shown you how I do anything with my airbrushing. Cool. This is my airbrush. I'm not going to go too much into airbrushing at the moment because I really want to do a video solely dedicated to airbrushing, but I have an Iwata Highline. One word of advice that I will give you: do not get a cheap airbrush. Do not get like one of those $70 airbrush, $50 airbrushes or something that comes really cheap, that promises to do everything. Save up some money and get a really decent one. I've had this one for maybe 6 or 7 years now, and it's pretty bulletproof. I've replaced parts in it many times. The Iwatas are really great for being able to replace parts. Even though they're quite expensive to replace the parts, they are quite durable. I use this all the time, and it's my go-to, and I love this thing. I can see this thing lasting me for another 10-20 years easily. I maintain it. I try to keep it clean. Always clean your airbrush when you finished it. And I'm going to use this because you can only use the color shift paint with an airbrush. It's very thin. I'm going to use this one. It's the tropical green. Oh no, I'm not using the tropical green. I actually want to use this one. This is the Mystic Gold. So I don't know, I feel like it's going to be way too gold, but I just want a really nice color shift so that I can actually show it to you. This is more of a gold and green here. Let's have a look at some of these other ones. It's probably too dark. Maybe Storm Surge green. No, we'll stick with the Mystic Gold. Okay, and we'll go through that. I'll just make sure that my airbrush is all prepped up, and I'll start with this. It's very thin stuff, like you can see. Oh, one thing you have to do is you have to kind of just cut off the end of this. Right, okay, so you'll see when I pull this out, it's really ultra thin, right? And you can kind of see the shimmery. I don't know if you can because the video camera is really shit, but it's really thin. So you have to do multiple coats with this. You have to spray, you have to let it dry, you have to spray, you have to let it dry. It takes a bit of effort to actually get this really cool effect on it. But we're going to do it anyways, and we're going to see how it goes. Okay, so I'm going to do the first coat here of the color shift. Just make sure it's mixed up nicely. And make sure that this, yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to use too much of this. I'm just going to do a bit of a test first. Yeah, yep, that's fine. Pressure might be a bit high. Okay, I'm just going to use a little bit. So I'm just going to turn the pressure down on my airbrush a little bit. Yep, cool. Let's just, yeah, that's working fine. Okay, so you want to do really light. You can't go thick with this stuff. You're going to be doing maybe around 4 to 5 coats on this at the very least. So you're just going to want to like really, and don't go really close with your airbrush, like anything that you're spraying, go back a lot. Oh, and let's not do that. And then just really, really, really light. Really light coats. And honestly, that's probably about all you want on that first coat. That's it. No more. Okay, so let's do this one. Oh, see, I went too heavy already. Gotta be careful. But you can already see the metallic coming up on this. On that black. Right, and let's just move that out of the way a bit over there. Okay, let's do this one. Not worried about the underneath because, as usual, I'll get the underneath after. Let's just put in a little bit more of this. Not too much. And between each coat, you're going to want maybe about 5 minutes between each coat just to let it settle and set. It's really, really, really watery, this stuff. So you're just going for a really, yep. Okay, and we're going to leave that there, but between every single, every pot of paint like that I use, I'll always run a little bit of thinner through it because this stuff will dry out too much, way too much. I usually have like a little pipette that I use, and this thing's great because it'll you know, capture all of the liquids and stuff. Cool, and I'll leave that for a couple of minutes and I'll come back and I'll do another coat. Sorry about that, I realized that I left the other table camera on. Fix that now. You can see these are totally dry. This has only been about 5 minutes. But you can already start to see the kind of metallic shimmer coming out, and it really comes out on the black. This is why you need to prime it black, because otherwise it's just not effective. If it's not dark, it's just not gonna be great, you know? Okay, so they're dry, so I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna do the next coat. Just shake this up. And I might do some of the underneath on this one, just because there's going to be multiple layers with this. Second coat done. And we'll come back and do the third coat in a minute. Okie dokie, so it's been another 5 or so minutes and it's dry. This stuff dries really quite rapidly, so that's helpful because you're doing multiple coats here. So I'm just gonna shake this out again, and then I'm gonna do yet another coat. I'm not very accurate with this, like, you know, some people are really pedantic with this kind of stuff, but I'm not. I know people that are even less pedantic than I am. This is making toys, man. This is not like... You're not a factory. You're a mini factory, but you're not like... Nothing has to be absolutely 100% perfect, you know? Like, it just do it. Get it done. Make it look cool. You know? As I said, I go a bit heavier on these subsequent layers because it can handle it, like it won't pull too much because it grips on itself. This is just what I found. A lot of people won't do this, but for me it's just more efficient because the quicker you can paint something, you know, the better it is. Okay, again, I'm going to leave that again, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do another layer. The next layer might be the last layer. I'm not sure. We'll see how it goes. The more layers with this stuff, the better. But, you know, you just can't keep going on for infinity. And that, my friends, is a clogged airbrush. So I'm probably going to have to disassemble this. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a look at these and see. And you know what? I think these are done anyways. They look pretty good to me. And that's how you do color change paint. You know, I don't think this one was that exciting, to be honest with you. I mean, it's pretty cool, but not too exciting. Not as exciting as some of the other ones. I'll go through and probably do a whole bunch of these and try them. Mush and green might be good. This red goblin looks really cool. It's a red and a green. Lots of greens. They do a lot of greens. But anyways, you don't have to use a black. You can use a dark green. You can use a dark blue. Just as long as it's a dark color for going over and airbrushing. Make sure you have a great airbrush. You see, even though mine is really good, it kind of clogged up on this a little bit. Not sure why, but you know, it happens. You just got to clean your airbrush. Always clean your airbrush. But color shift paints, they're really awesome. They're really awesome base. You can see, like, I did a color shift on this, and I did what I did in the previous video, like a basic paint job, and it just turned out really cool. Like, you don't have to go overboard with this stuff. It's just, yeah, it's a great effect. Don't know if a lot of people use this stuff or you know about it, but now you do. So give it a go. Try some color shift paint. A little bit of extra effort with all the coats that you have to do, but yeah, I think the results speak for themselves. They're just really freaking cool. Anyways, Toy Fiends, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Thank you so much to all the people that have subscribed so far. I'm really not very good at doing the whole promotional thing, but it's nice to have followers and it's nice to know that people are kind of enjoying my videos and stuff like that. I'm really just trying to document all this stuff that I sit around and do and make. And it's really nice. Keep the comments coming. Keep the information. You guys are sharing lots of really cool things with me, and I really, really appreciate it. So take it easy, Toy Fiends, and I'll see you in the next video. So, if you're making toys, you need to make sure that you are properly lubricated. Tonight's toy video is presented to you by Baijiu. This is Baijiu. This is a Korean liquor distilled out of Chinese rice wine, or miju. This is not one that I would usually drink. It's honestly, I have a bottle of Maotai in there, and I freaking love Maotai. I have a whole collection of Baijiu. This one was gifted to me by a friend, my friend Jared. He said, "Hey man, a friend of mine told me to try this Chinese liquor, so I got this one, and then I tried it, and it tastes like absolute shit, and it burnt the hell out of my mouth." So this is 45%, and oh yeah, it's got a nice little cap there, and yeah, it has that beautiful umami flavor. If you don't like things like soy sauce and that real strong umami flavor, you're not gonna like this shit. But I absolutely freaking love it. This is Baijiu. You should at least try it once, or twice, or 3 times, just so that you can get used to the flavor. And once you get past that initial kind of burn, it has that beautiful umami. Oh, just a little bit more because, you know. Little Lang. Not bad. Not as good as Maotai, but it still does the trick. And if you're not a drinker, just drink soft drink, or maybe drink some soy sauce. Might be a little salty, but it has that beautiful umami flavor, and it's not going to be the same at all. So don't do that. Don't drink soy sauce. Just drink Baijiu. Okay. Ooh. Ah, hairs on my chest. Ooh. Take it easy, toy fiends.